This day 1319, the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, and it should be as close for our learning should be as close for the soldiers and the hostages and everybody involved in the war in Gaza. Today we're doing Yoredea Simon Reshut Aleph, Steve Lamed Hey to Mem Aleph. I say Reshut Yud Aleph, Resh Aleph. Lamed Hey. So I said yesterday we're stopping really in the middle of a topic, but with the correlation between Mayan and the Mayan and a hole next to it. Because of Ravi writes on the beginning that the hole next to the Mayan is like the Mayan. The whole next to the swings like so. Tosefta vein was arbezochlin el mokum shu yochel aloch betchila. So it's the water is not matire if it's flowing, unless place where it could have gone initially. B'zel shon tosefta. This is the language of tosefta. Mayin shu moshe kanal spring which flows, which draws literally like a centipede. For yibol avir and you expanded it. Mitar bashborin, it's mitar with stationary water. Vein mitar bezochas and mitar with flowing water. Ela armakom shechol aloch mitchleso, except only it's only mitar up to a place where it could have initially gone. Hakon shono. Mir dachi berusho. It seems that this is what he means to say. This actually in the Mishnah, which in the Mishnah, that is like it was. Is how ad makom sheyo amastim shachos. That's to the place where the original rivulets went. Gulos ketanos, even though beforehand they were small channels. Actually, they shuvim, and now through the drawn water, which you put in them, nasu gulos became big. We don't care. Because the main mine were there first. But that which extends further downstream than the place where it went originally, that it's that place like a mikveh. So we say for like the end. So machlokes here many by anybody. It's just basic halacha. Tosefta does not argue in the Mishnah Ayin Sham. Lamavav. Rabbeinu Beis Yosef because the Mishnah of Beis Yosef, they says the right Rambam cholek al Ravid, the Rambam argues on Ravid. It's Filei Rambam Shatos Eva cholek al Mishnah. The Rambam, the Rambam also Tosefta argues on the Mishnah. Ayin Sham. V'lo Rati Yosef Daito. Says I'm not sure what he's saying. V'en you can't ask the came of the Rabbi Shua Mayon. It's just more drawn water than spring water. Harei Kol Mayon Chazal Yos can make it so the entire spring should be now so like a mikveh. Like it says in the Rambam there, Mishariba, when the dripping water is more than the flowing water, the Amitam Elabash burn it becomes it gets as a mikvah, so Amitam if it's stationary. Okay, that's not a question. The Rambam must relate the Zeu Shariba Mokum Mashochas Amayon. This is where you increased the amount of water in the place where the spring is flowing. And their size like rivers which are distant from the spring. But if you put more shpaim shuvim into the actual bore of the mayon of the actual spring, in that cavity, each drop of water as it comes in is batel to the fountain water, the spring water, so therefore it becomes spring water. Therefore, even there's more drawn water than flowing water, it's not a problem. So the case Mishnah the Ran. It's the longest brackets here. Hatosefta Mayan and Moshe Kanado. This Tosefta of the spring which is flowing like a centipede. Who perik down mikvos is in the fourth perik mikvos perakama. So the first perik there, showing we learn mayin shmeima muatim. If you have a spring which has very little water, v'riba love, and you added water, v'yirchivo and you expand it, mitar bashborin, it's mitar as a mikvah, stationary. V'yim mitar b'zochin, it's not mitar and moving. Ela mokum shiach only to the place where it could have gone originally. V'yivia rash so perakama, the Rash brings it down. This is Parish Kankin the Rambam Keperik Dalit. Keperik Dalit. This can also be explained to the Rambam. Kankamazu Shena was Shekanadol. One place telling about one which is not like a centipede. Perik Dalit Kansham Moshe Kanadol. And in this place, it's telling us it's a centipede. The Mokum Shanim Shal Mikonim Af Shayu Muatim. Place where like the Arukh HaShulchan said inside, so a place where the water it comes from previously from the spring, even if it's a minority. Since the spring did reach there, Adayim Matar B'Zochlin and still Matar B'Zochlin and Matar all the Shuvim, presumably which you dump into it. Lamed Zayin. Ava Rabbeinu Shimshon, the Rash Pirush Mishnah Sabbath V'Nachai explains the Mishnah a different way. This is how it explains it. Mayan Amush, Moshe Canal, if you have a river which is expands like a centipede. If you added water and drew it, not that you had to drawn water, because if there was drawn water, it would not be matar flowing. You added he made pools in all places where the Mayan flowed. When he smiled across mine, each one of them was full of water, all full of water. Harei k'moshe hoisa. So it's just like it was previously. The Makom Shoyim Meim of Zochlin, Country Bahalei Bir Chivon, a place where the water flowed before you expanded it and deepened and broadened it. Yesham Matar B'Zochlin. That's Matar when it's in movement, and when it's moving. But on the side, it's only matar when it is stationary. Toseftos also explains the Toseftos in this manner. It's more machil Rambam two accounts. One is that if there's a majority now of drawn water or even rainwater, it's not matar when the water is moving. I feel not so even in the spring itself. Because more shuvah. That's a halacha of the dripping water became more than the flowing water, which she spoke about. The second thing is that even when you drew the waters of the spring further, places where you drew it out. It's not like all rivers which are distant from the place from the origin point of the Mayan. Nevertheless, they have the halacha of the Mayan that the matar even when they're moving. That's because they're there. It's their nature. We spoke about this concept yesterday. That's how Hashem created the world. Rivers flow from springs. Also, the seas are matar with even when they're flowing. Because rivers that fall there, like we saw. Was when a human being does this, he draws the water. So then that's no good. That's not dark Shoylam. It's also not like wells which you mean the digs. The Sham Lo Sadam Mayim Atzmam, as he said there, is not doing anything with the water themselves. He says we're moving the covering which is on the water. Like the Arukh HaShulchan wrote there. As opposed to where he changed the direction, the flow, the direction of the Mayan water. He's tampered with the water. Does Elam Dimain, they lose the law of Mayan. Bezel Shitas Rabbein was saying about Itas Kam Komos, Shita with the places, the Rabbein Shimshon, who are Mechaber at Toseftos. We have Toseftos, sorry. He is the author of Toseftos, Berov Shas, in most of Shas Kayadua, as evidently is well known. Lamed Ches. Which we've explained in these halachas, the Ravasa, there's a major machlekes. B'chol naros we make by all rivers in the rainy season. Say because rivers get very swollen from the rainwater. Because there's a lot of rain. So now you have more water which drip from the sky, according to that shot, than flowed from the mine. Regarding to Gamkain, Kama Morim Bezeg, more has several statements of this. Kmoshis Baruch Siad Shmez, we shall see. The Mokum Echad Amu Nara Mekipet Mizbarach. One place in Shabbos Samchay, they say no. The river is blessed; it increases from its own, literally its own caps, the domes. So it means that it still has a din mayon. Um, uh, Mimakoro from its source, well, make sure not from rainwater. There isn't a case where there's a tefach coming down from above. Sheitif Chaim only connected to the matam, which two tefachim don't come up from below. Nitzafi said Tamid Rabba Zochlan. Note, according to this, is always going to be more flowing water than stationary water, than water which drips. Connected to Amru, according to this, correspondence, they said ain't pros mitar bezochlin. I think corresponding against this, they said that the Euphrates River is not matar when it flows el b'tishrei bilvad, only at Tishrei, when we know that the water comes from the mountain springs. Does ain't my and there's no rain at that time. Avabitos ageshem, but in terms of rain, ain't matar b'zochlin. It does is not matar when it flows. We should the rabba because there's more water which came from heaven and dripped down than that which flows from the from the spring. So they said Abu the Shmuel Abi the ban say Shmuel made for his daughters mikvos yom Nisan mikvas in days of Nisan mishum az umein because one's so which one if I say that was in the us minor showing with Bavel, then it's raised to Bavel. But the Pobanaris and others likely Mishum Ribi and you can't travel in moving in flowing rivers because there's more rainwater. Do it Lamed test. Menechel was there Rabbi Sainus, Machlekes about this. By the time Pasa Kach Meimer Dinar Mikipim Mizbarach. He paskins that the river increases on its own from its own. Mutai Pobanaris Koshon you can travel in rivers the entire year. Ragzeu Benaro Shel Olam Enemies Yabshim. So anybody rivers never dry up. I'm not used to me sabshim, but rivers that dry up, be me'akites, like a wadi. Ain't of him, and we can't go and mix with them. The chashina told me the rebuild enough. I'm always concerned that you're going to have more as it redevelop, re-energize itself. It's going to have more drawn water than kosher mikvah water. And that's the one in the Rabbeinu Tam. According to Rabbeinu Tam in the Dor Daf Mem. Come on, the light you could have said they maybe the primary. Construction of this river is by rain. Udasa beitam a scheme or rash sefer truma vasmag. They'll agree have that you can travel even in the time when there's a lot of rainwater in the river. Rabbeinu Cham pasuk either made Rabbeinu Cham pasuk like the other side. There was man ribik shamim ainly bonaros when there's a lot of rain. You can't talk a travel in a river. They all seem to hold the same way. And also Rambam seems to hold that way. But he distinguishes between the primary source of the water, to the place where it flows flows down line. And as we saw in its primary place, it's always matar by flowing, because whatever falls in there is kama batil as it falls in its batil. As we have said. There are some rabbis who hold, the Ran evidently brings it down, the Mokom HaNor, at the place of the river itself, rainwater never passes the flow. Rock and Kremesh, was just where the river expands during the summer, that there, which is not the course of the river, when the spring water was primarily feeding it, there the rainwater can answer it, if it's flowing and not stationary. Mem hatur vevi plukta zul tur brings the machlokas there's the daito noit lachmir. Since it's machmir, chem pasach rabbeinu beises beis v'zel shono. Beises pasking bravo nofel zochlin. There's more rainwater than flowing spring water. And so there's more rainwater in the river, Einam matarim b'zaychlan shvar. They're not matami when they're flowing, only stationary. If you're like kif mapos chayotzabos, so therefore you have to envelop an area with a mat or something similar. Urav actually kovu amayim, which is you put it into a mixed river, until the water gathers in one place. Meaning the if the day is rainy season, she has to toilet in the river. It's necessary like keep mikveh makom and har. You have to surround place in the river. Shamayim lo yuzochim, where the water will be stationary. And nikvim for only bashboren, collected and gathered in a stationary manner. If there's a hole which is full of rainwater, even though water flows into it from among the mountains, since now they're stationary. Collected, and in a hole. You're allowed to type on it. Not sure the Kiddush is. I'm not sure what Kiddush is. It's partial. But there's long brackets here. The Shachva, Tash, because you mentioned the Nado, Yerbu, and Shelfi, much beyond there, look, Hashukal, Gamashik, to his addition, Bach, the Bach, Chumas Desha and Bach, bring down the Kasha. Why are Lama Notfim Pasli Zoichlin? Why does drip water parcel flowing water, assuming ain't posted mikvah shlema, and yet drawn water doesn't parcel a full mikvah, feel bariba, even if it's more than the drawn water. Than the non-drawn water. But here to the asam mishum to have a kizriya. It's because the mayim shum, it's as if they're planted in the Mayan water or the Meg Shami. Or mishum the shumim kshem or because there's a shita which shows mayim shum kashmi deraisa. Viksha tas mi mishnah nadal. So Taz asks from the Mishnah of Nadal that Menotfi Mahani Aksharamai. Even when it's dripping, the fountain can be, the spring can be tired. I don't know what's difficult for him. The Peirush Harash, hello loyim shich b'shuvin. According to Rash, there are no shuvim here. The Peirush Rambam, atam mishum shum korah, I don't know if you can post them. Because Rambam, the main reason, because in the spot, even in their source, the dripping water is not possible. Remember, so Rambam Kasha she has to go around this question. All that shumim mikvah, heganofim makam makar mayan. The mikvah are like the notfim, the drip water in the place where you have that in the spring. And this is clear. Memav. Rabbeinu Ramai Kilkudas Mekilim. Zel Shono. Moaz Mekel Kein Loros Lachmir. It's appropriate to paskin and be machmir. Klamar Osim Libo Menaros Meag Shayim. In other words, not to travel in rivers in the winter. Avayesh Matin Libo Menaros Koshon. But those permit going to the Mikvah rivers the entire year. At B'Shas Kshami, even a time of rain. Favshar slugging or and ice melt, snow melt. For Rabbi Neifin Azotha and more dripping water comes in, rainwater, than Zochlin, than flowing water. Spring water. So the ikar gina narmi makom kara, because the primary raising of a river is from its source. This is the minhag in many places, most places where there is no especially built mikveh. Bracket says, mikveh. If you have mikveh, ainly bo benaros. You should not dive on a river. El benar kata ma'od, unless it's a very small river. But that never goes dry. Presumably for safety reasons. Can't put that against those who are lenient. They have what to rely on. But you be careful not to go to mikveh in a river which can completely buy rainwater. When there's no rainwater, it ceases to exist altogether. And even in that case, the other rivers go into it during the rainy season and make it, and they bring in with it the spring water. It stops completely. When there is no rain, you can't travel in it through as a with the manner of zechila, achko mayim letocho. Yeah, because it gets interrupted. Avavanor she'ena posek, but a river never stops. Api sheb'shas aksham mispashen misarchevo k'dozov. Even though at the time of rain it expands. Muti bo b'chol mokom l'fi sfaras hamakilim. You can travel in any time according to like the makilim ufi mashinogu, and that is actually the minhag. Akal Shono, and tomorrow it's going to elaborate on that minhag.